Hello, fellow Jeepers. This is Jay Pett, your action reporter for the CJ2APage.com and your Jeep community. Today I'm going to do a review of a motor I bought for Bam Bam. It's a remanufactured engine from Ackerd Engines. So let's dive into it. I'll try to get through these details. I bought this motor off this website. You can see they have a very fancy website. I'm going to flip this around here and go through the website a little bit. There's Ackerd, that's their address, so you know what we're talking about. They have a very nice website, 68,000 engines sold and delivered, quality rebuild, all that. I bought a 4.3 Chevy for Bam Bam, and the thing that their price was right, it was only 2,000 bucks, but I was in Chevrolet 4.3 Chevrolet. I was impressed with supposedly 100,000 mile national warranty. The website says main and rod bearings, these are new parts, rings, pistons, timing components, oil pump, overhaul gasket set, which it did. Manufacturing includes bore block, crank ground, this is very important right here, connecting rods, reconditioned, cylinder heads completely reconditioned. So I bought this motor. They said they would have it to me in 18 days, and they did very quickly. Were very helpful during the sale. And anywho, stand by for more news. So anyway, the timeline of this whole thing was, I bought this motor to put in my Jeep. It has a 4.3 in it. It runs good, but it uses oil. So I pulled the motor, I put this one in, I put my parts on the new motor from Ackerd Engines. I did it correctly. I followed their instructions to a T, and I drove it 10 miles and the motor seized up on me. I was on a Friday. I called the salesman, told him about it. I'm not going to mention his name. He told me he was going to get a hold of warranty, and I never heard back from him again. So I texted him and asked him, can I pull the motor out of the Jeep? What can I do? Because I got to get this vehicle running. You guys know me. You know that I drive it. It's a daily driver for me. So I never heard anything till Sunday. He sent me a text and said, I don't know, I'll ask warranty. So I waited a week. That Monday, I called the number. I got the recording, you heard it. I filled out the request every day. I sent an email to admin and copied the salesman on it, everyone in the company I could think of, and I never heard anything for 12 days. After a week, I can't wait anymore, so I knew I had to pull the motor out, and I decided I was going to pull the pan because I need this pan for my other motor. Well, when I pulled the pan, I saw that the crank was labeled standard, which I know this is not what it's supposed to be. That's not what I bought. I asked them specifically. After I seen that the crank was marked standard and they hadn't responded to me, I started looking at the reviews, which I should have done that to begin with. I should have started with the reviews, but I didn't. I trust people. Anyway, if you read the Google reviews, if you just Google Ackerd Engines reviews, or if you go to the Better Business Bureau website and look up Ackerd Engines, you'll find out that this is, well, I'm not going to accuse anyone. You just search Better Business Bureau, Ackerd Engines, and then you be the judge. After reading in reviews, I decided that I'm not willing to send this motor back without being present when it's being inspected. So I decided I was at least going to inspect the rods and see if I could find where it was locked up at. And this is some of the stuff that I found out. Now we'll delve into the inspection, my inspection. Excuse me, before I get started draining the oil, I just want to show that this thing, it does have oil. I put 5 quarts in it. If you can see that, but it's got Well, it's just hard to see in the video, but it's nice clear oil to the level. It does not smell, there you go. It does not smell like it has gas in it or anything. It's just nice and clean. So it's 5W30 conventional oil. They recommended Valvoline. I couldn't get Valvoline, but it was, they did say not to use a synthetic for break-in, and this is not, it's 5W30. Yeah, I've loosened all these up, still doesn't turn, so apparently it's not a stuck valve, so I've loosened both sides. Okay, what I've got here is this Snap-on torque wrench. It's a digital, and it tells me, well, I'm trying to see how many foot-pounds of torque it takes to break this rear main seal bearing cap free. Looks like 70. This one's 65. Let's see. It is nice and clean, I will give him that. That looks, see that? Go to another one. That's 60 there, that one broke at 60. $65. That's 62, 63. $67. $60. Okay. The correct torque for these rods is supposed to be 20 foot-pounds and then an additional 70 degrees, which ends up being almost about 45 foot-pounds in actuality. 20 pounds. That one's more like 30, I'd say. Bunch of pits in there, a bunch of holes. See that? When I go to undo it, there's like 35 pounds on that one compared to the other one. 30. Sucker is in there. The bearing is in here. Looks like it's stuck to the crank, I think. It looks like it's spun possibly now the crank moves. Look at that. That's it right there. That's the problem. Oh, it's welded even here. See that? Right there. Welded up. It's spun in there. The rod shot. The crank will have to be redone there. Yeah, I'm going back. So far we've discovered that these here rods were 20 foot-pounds. This one is 3, it spun a bearing. I haven't touched 4, 5, or 6 yet. I wanted to get a witness here to show what the torque spec is on these. You can see the way the marks are aligned, so we can compare that later. This is rod number 4. Tom here is gonna videotape this wrench. I'm gonna break them free. You might need to get the wrench in here too, so see. Okay, the wrench is set to 20 foot-pounds. I'm gonna see what it takes to break them free. Let me take this extension off. Truest reading I can get, okay. There's 20, okay, that one's about 30. This one, well, I'm about 25, it broke free, somewhere less than 30. While I'm at it, maybe I'll just do this one real fast. Okay, that one already broke free, 22. So now, take a look, see what we got in here. Do is torque this back down using the correct setting and show what we got. This is just there, okay. Unevenly, okay. Okay, that's 20. Now, here's the additional 70 degrees. I made this little CAD sheet so that you can see what 70 degrees looks like. It's a little more than a bolt flat. Each bolt is 60 degrees. Okay, see how we're climbing? It's 20. There's 30, 31, 32, 3, 40. 45. That's what you'd expect out of a rod. About 42. Okay. That's what you would expect these to be at. Like these here things. This one here, let's come over here, man. There's 20. See, it's already free. See what I mean? So these things are nowhere near 20 degree or 20 foot-pounds and 70 degrees, which is about 45 foot-pounds. That's what you would expect out of a motor. The website says as you'd expect in any remanufactured engine, that the crank is reground. The block is bored, crank ground. It says that on their website. I'll post a picture of that later. This bearing is clearly a standard bearing, so the crank has not been reground. It even says STD on the crankshaft right here, which means this crank has not been reground. And I don't know if someone wants to try to argue that this is like a new old stock crank or a new crank that's never been used, but if you look at this, the debris on the front, you know, I mean, it's clear that this is not a new crank. It's been used before. I had to clean the dirt out of that actually to get the pulley on. So anyway, stand by, more to come. So this is number 1 rod, 3/1000 clearance. Look at number 1 compared to number 2. You know, it's closer to, it's 4 to 5 thousandths slop on this crank. That's how inconsistent we are. Again, the website says ground crank, the salesman says ground crank, 1010. Does that look ground? No. Okay, number 6. Three thousandths. So of the 6 journals in here, 1 spun. I can't inspect it. This one's the only one that is within 2, or this one here is the only one, 5 is the only one within 2, that's 2 thousandths. The rest of them are 3, except for, I don't know what the spun one is. And this one is over 4 thousandths. So, okay, here I have 2 crankshafts. This is the one out of the Accurate engine motor that I bought. A ground crank, supposedly, is what the website says. This one is a used crank out of a motor I have that's that I'm going to use to fix this other motor that, I don't know how many miles it's got on. It's got well over, I mean, the rings are shot. I'm sure it's got well over 100, if not 200,000 miles, but I don't know, but it's definitely been run, and it's obviously not been reconditioned. Now, if you look in the sealed power bearing book, ST115, which they use Federal Mogul bearings, the spec for the mains is 2.4884 to 2.4493, and for the rods is 2.2492 to 2.2498. Okay, comparing crank to crank. First, we'll do the mains. Front main on the AE motor, 2.4482. Front main on a used unfinished crank, 2.4490. Second main, AE motor, 2.4482. Used motor, 2.4485. Third main, 2.4482, 2.4485. And then the rear main, they're both 2.4479, both of these motors. Okay, rods. Rod number 1, 2.2488, 2.2488. Rod 2, 2.2484, 2.2488. Rod number 3, I did not check because that's a spun one, but on the other crank it's 2.2490. Now we are 2.2482, 2.2488, 2.2482, 2.2488. This one's 6/10 bigger. Rod number 5, 2.2487, 2.2489, and rod number 6, 2.2485, 2.2489. This is a apples to apples comparison of the AE crank to this other crank that I have that's just a used crank. The point I'm trying to make here, you can see the journals on this one. That's 10 miles of a reconditioned, or even if they're trying to say that the crank was good enough, it did not need to be ground. I mean, I would think that it would at least be as good as this just plain old crank that came out of a used engine with several miles on it. In fairness, I measured the camshaft. I checked it out. I do not believe this is a new camshaft. It has some wear marks in it after 10 miles. And it's got some rust on it. But it does, and there's some dirt there too, but it does check out. It meets the specs, so we're okay. They make it clear in the instructions. Oh, I might want to mention that this crankshaft, it looks like it was inspected by someone with the initial B. And again, here's your checklist. Whatever but they specify in the when I bought the motor several things, and one of them is to make certain that it is primed correctly, before you start the engine. So just to make sure that someone doesn't think I started this without oil in it, I filled it with oil, and here's the tool that I use to prime the oil pump. It's got this groove in it which forces the oil into the galleys. And I ran this and I turned the motor by hand different places to make sure that these filled with oil, and I pumped it until oil starts shooting out of all 12 push rods into the head. So okay, I'm back to inspecting this motor. This came from Accurate Engines. Spun a rod bearing, number 3 rod. So obviously we have to pull that piston and rod. Here I'm going to check the torque on the head bolts to make sure it's correct. They're supposed to be 65 foot-pounds. That's what I've got my wrench set to. So we'll listen for the beep. These are 7/16 bolts, so it's 65. Okay, I just broke, that's 35 foot-pounds. Check this one. 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 3, 40, 45. That one's 45 foot-pounds. This is from the factory where they sent this, by the way. That, see, they got, I don't know if you can see this. These bolts have yellow paint on them, which I assume means that someone checked them. That yellow paint, who knows what that, apparently not. But so far, these bolts are breaking free. Nowhere near 65 foot-pounds. $40. Come on. 35, 39, 40 for 1, 42, 43, 44, 45, 47, 50. That one's 50. $40. $45, $50. $40. So anyway, I don't know. That's where we're at. That's one. I'll just check one on this side right quick. 25. $40. I'm gonna leave a few of these. Get a witness over here, so. Checking these outer bolts. $50. Now I realize that after the motor's 50, after the motor's run, you may have to go back and tighten these a little, but not like some of these are like 30 foot, they're like 30 and 40 foot-pounds. They ain't gonna loosen up that much. 46, 30, you know, it don't loosen that much. And they're all over the place. I mean, I guess, I don't know, maybe not use a torque wrench, maybe just 40. So that's what we're dealing with. Okay, I decided to get a witness while I break these bolts free because, well, anyone's saying, oh, you did it, you know, no one was there, I didn't see a blah, 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 blah. So again, the wrench, I set it to 65 foot-pounds, which is correct for a 7/16 20 bolt, which these heads are. This one I already broke free. Okay, we're going 40. 45. Let's go at 45. Let's try this one. What's the highest ones they've had? 53. That one's 54, 53, 54. At least it's doing better than what we were. 40, 50. Well, this side's a lot better than the other side. That one's loose. $44, $45. Some of them over there were like 30, you know, they're
not consistent.
Yeah, so even if the torque, oh, that one there is 40. Even if the torque wrench was wrong, it's gonna at least be consistent. These are all over the place. $48. Oh, I didn't even get a chance to turn and that one came loose, you know what I mean? That's what I mean. Yeah. Now that isn't something where the $50.
Not consistent at all.
Okay, this one's 44. Nowhere near 60. None of them are near 65. And even if you could argue that, you know, once you run the motor, you have to go back and torque them down, which you do, but they're not going to be that far off. They're not going to be, and they're not going to be inconsistent amongst each other. So I don't know what the yellow paint. I don't know what the yellow paint on the bolt stands for and how this checklist shows that the head bolts are checked. I don't know if they're just checking the torque or just checking to see if there's actually a bolt there, but whatever it is, they're inconsistent. So here's some of the bearings inside of this unit. The wear pattern after 10 miles. Okay, now we're on to the bore. This is number 3. This is the one that spun the bearing. So I pulled this piston. It measures 4-inch 26 thousandths. Okay. This bore, I measured it. It actually measures 4-inch 30 and a half thousandths, like 4.03 0.05 at its smallest. If I can find it again. There's 1/10 over down in the bottom. There it's actually 30 thousandths there. That's 30 thousandths. Oh, now there it's 1 under. So that would be 29.5 thousandths at the bottom. At the top, there's the top. There's 30.5 thousandths. This is 9/10. So it's got 9/10 taper. I'm not going to complain about that too much. There's 30.5, 30.5. So it's going to be, it's about, there it's a little, it's a couple, 1/10 or 2 over, but, so it's about 30 thousandths. That would mean that there's, now see, now this one here, this one's 5/10 bigger. There it's 1 thousandths bigger. Of course the piston could be bigger. I haven't measured the piston. This here one has about 4 thousandths clearance between the piston skirt and the bore. So I'll let you be the judge of that. So let's, looking wrong. So let's call the number 1-800-289-7118.
Thank you for calling Accurate Engine. Press 1 for our sales department or to get a quote on an engine. Press 2 to make a payment on an invoice or a yearly warranty payment. For warranty claims, issues, or status updates, press 3. Also, at the moment, all of our staff are on the other line with customers. Please call back or email us for questions. Status updates or concerns at admin@accurateengine.com. We are sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Okay, I have called that number many times. Sometimes 3 or 4 times a day. I have never got past that message. It doesn't allow you to leave a voicemail. I have filled out the form on the website many times, and I've emailed the admin. No one has ever called me back. So if you can get through on that number, I'd like to know about it. Okay, this happened on November 19th. I was driving home 10 miles. I spun a bearing. And I contacted the salesman right away. I didn't get very far. Basically, after numerous requests, I finally got this email on December 2nd. Again, this is after filling out multiple requests. And then shortly after that, I got this email. Excuse me. Here they are basically saying that I need to pull the motor, keep all of my stuff on it, send it to them, or they would pick it up and they will inspect it, be judge and jury of what's wrong with it. And keep in mind, I already know what the problem is. Okay, I'm not a jerk. I understand that if the motor failed and I expect them to do something with the warranty, that I can't just take it apart and dismantle it, that they want to see what it is. But I've already seen that this thing does not have a ground crank in it, and that the crank is suspect at best, and that these torque specs are all over the place. So to me, that isn't a situation where there was a mistake or something happened, we'll look at it and we'll fix it. This is, well, I'm not gonna call it anything. I want this video to speak for itself. So you've seen the video, you be the judge. Now, would you feel comfortable sending this motor back to them where they are the ones that inspect it, when you've seen the way their inspection goes, and they're going to tell me what's wrong with it, and I'm going to send all my parts on it after I don't even hear from them for 12 days? Who knows when I'll get my parts back? And I understand that. They had sent me an email that said that they all simultaneously had COVID, and that this is why they didn't respond. Well, I had COVID. There's several people who've had COVID. You quarantine, but you're sick for so many days. But the entire department was so sick for 12 days, they couldn't even send me an email that says, we'll get back to you or anything like that. They couldn't respond to their emails. Not a single one in the department, every one of them. But maybe that's the case. So, you be the judge. But would you feel that even if they were to warranty it, would you feel comfortable taking one of their motors now and putting it in your vehicle, seeing this kind of what you've seen on this video? Well, I wasn't very comfortable with it. But I wanted to get some documentation that says that the cranks are ground, because I have the website. It says ground crank. So I talked to my salesman. He had told me that the crank was ground. I specifically asked him that. So then I called up again, and I had a witness with me. I had him on speakerphone, and I asked a different salesman, I pretended like I was buying a motor, and I asked him particulars about it. I said, is the block board or the grounds cranked? And he said, yes, all the cranks are ground 1010. Okay, we all know that 1010 means that the rods are ground 10 thousandths undersize, the mains are ground 10 thousandths undersize. So then I had that on audio in front of a witness. I wanted to get it in writing in an email. So I asked the warranty agent here, where you've been seeing these emails, are the cranks ground? And this is the email that he sent me. Okay, notice in the email, he says, cranks are ground, mains for sure. Now, this isn't a rebuilt engine, some motor that I could have done myself in a garage. It's remanufactured. So I expect the crank to be ground. Part of it, I expect the block to be bored. I expect the motor to be remanufactured. It's back to this like it was a new motor. That's why you do this sort of thing. But again, like I said in the other thing, even if you were to say that, well, this crank is good enough that it does not need to be ground, you can see by my inspection that this crank is not even, you would think it would at least be the cream of the crop, if it's not going to be reconditioned. Well, and you just be the judge. You've seen the video, you be the judge. Notice he also says in here that if I want a warranty, I have to leave my pan on it, leave my timing cover, leave my harmonic balancer on it, or else they won't give me a warranty on it. So basically, I have to send all my stuff to them. They've got my money, they've got the motor, they've got my parts. They have a history with me of not getting back to me at all, and they're going to be the ones to judge whether or not they're going to warranty the item, when in my opinion, I feel that they've invalidated our agreement by not putting a ground crank in this machine. Okay, so now I have two salesmen tell me the cranks are ground, and the warranty guy, whatever he is, in his email specifying that the cranks are all ground on the mains. They don't, and that they don't have these kind of failures. Okay. Ideally, I would just take this motor back to them and they would cut me a check, but I'm not an idiot. I know that ain't going to happen. And that's really the reason I disassembled it, because I wouldn't want their warranty motor back anyway. But after all this, I finally laid it out on the line. I sent them an email showing them these pictures and everything I did, this inspection process that you saw on the crankshaft. I sent them this information. This is the email I got in response to all that. Apparently, the warranty guy forwarded over to one of the mechanics who possibly worked on the motor. Look where he says, "We polish it, we don't grind it." There you have it, folks. You don't have to take my word for it. You can take the word of the mechanic from Accurate Engines. They do not grind them. They polish them. The salesman says they're ground. The warranty guy says they're ground. Says ground on the website. But the actual mechanic says, no, we do not grind them. We polish them. These are remanufactured engine now here. Remanufactured. Not a rebuild out of some garage, I would think. I paid for a ground crank. I specifically asked if the cranks were ground before I bought the motor. Had they not been ground, I would have never made the deal. What else does he say in the email? He also says that this standard crank, it's on the high side of standard. Okay, there is no such thing. It is a standard crank. It's not been reground where someone may not have ground it down. This is an original crank that came in a brand new Chevrolet, who knows how many miles ago. I mean, the crank is from the late 80s, and it ran in a motor before the motor was taken apart, and then it was redone in this. Now, if it had been ground 10 under, 20 under, someone may have not ground it all the way down. It could be a little on the high side. But this one isn't. And as you can see by my pictures and the plastic gauge and the miking, it's undersize, not high side. Do you think it's possible that a rod bearing would spin if the bolts were only torqued down to 20, if it had an extra thousandths of clearance and the rod bolts were only torqued to 20 foot-pounds? Do you think that's possible? All right. So now, again, I say, would you feel comfortable sending your motor back to these people? And even if they fixed it, knowing what I know now, would you feel comfortable taking it, having them fix it and send it back to me? Do you think they're going to totally disassemble this motor, replace the rod, and clean all the stuff out, replace the bearings because of all the debris and stuff it got in it? Do you think they're going to do that? Maybe, but I don't know. Or do you think they would just take that crank out, polish it, and put it back in, not even change a rod? I don't know. I can't trust, I don't feel comfortable trusting it. So finally, after all this, I sent them an email with one simple request. This is all I want from them. I want them to send me a new bearing set. I want them to send me a new gasket set. And I mean bearings, main bearings, rod bearings, cam bearings. I'm going to have to replace the cam bearings. So I got to take this thing apart, clean it out. I haven't even looked at the heads yet. I don't even know. I haven't even inspected them yet. But that is all I've asked for. I just want to fix this myself and get it right. Now, I think that's fair. Don't you think that's fair? That's all I'm requesting? Okay, that last email that I just showed you, I think it was the 3rd of December, that is the last thing I've heard from them. This here is a portion of the email I sent them on December 3rd where I asked for the bearings and gaskets that I have not had a response to this email. Okay, today is December 19th. This is 1 month since this incident occurred. I have not heard back from Accurate Engines, Granville, Michigan. I have not heard back from them since December 3rd. So if you're watching this on YouTube, it's because they have seen this evidence and have chose to do nothing about it. So I wish you would, watch the video, make a judgment, make comments, lots of comment, spread this video far and wide, especially to anyone who's interested in buying a remanufactured engine. And I'm going to list in the comments some links to the Better Business Bureau, bbb.org. There you can look at Accurate Engines and see the reviews. I'm going to put some links to YouTube videos. I've seen other YouTube videos where people are complaining about the customer service and the motors and stuff. I don't think I've ever seen one that actually breaks it down and demonstrates how bad. Sorry, take that back. You decide whether it's bad or not, you know what I mean? But a video that is this in depth of, breakdown of what the motor is. So I appreciate you watching this, and thanks. Have a good day.